Good evening and welcome to SA's Soccer Roundtable, the SAFC Fancast. My name is Harry Austin. Joining me live from somewhere in the highlight, we have Rafa. How are you?
Pretty good.
And then also joining us here, let's put him in the spotlight. Matt, missed you last night, but hopefully you and your family had a good time celebrating a birthday party.
Yeah, it was chill. We were just there watching. I was watching the game and the Spurs game, so yeah, it was a good night.
How was the Spurs game?
They won.
Better than the game before where they didn't do as well?
Nowadays, SanAntonio's gonna SanAntonio. Literally.
So let's go into opening thoughts here. Oh, let me give you. We got an injury report here. Unlike SAFC, we have an injury report. Jonathan Check, hope you're feeling better. I think all the travels out to, was it West Texas is what that would be called?
Panhandle
Area for that here. So glad that he's back and safe, but unfortunately he's a little bit under the weather. And Royce is traveling back from Austin. So he is, I guess he had to go see his buddies with Los Verdes and stuff like that. Austin FC match. He just didn't want to come. Just gonna call it on that. Trying to get this here. Let me just stick it here. And greetings from America to Germany. Just wanted to wish you, if I could hit it here, a great show because it's past 1 a.m. Why are you up at 1 a.m.? I can't be live watching because of work tomorrow. I'll watch it as a real life. Do thank you for all your support and stuff like that. But go to bed, man. Go to bed. Come on.
Night.
Can we talk about Newcastle United winning trophies?
Finally in 70 years.
70 years. Hey, they got it done.
And against Liverpool, too.
They beat Newcastle for the last one, Matt. I teed that up for you. You didn't deliver it. Man. I can't do that with Rafa because Rafa will pull out his, suitcase of trophies and rings that his clubs have. So, he's like, which one do you want? You want Club America or Real Madrid? But
you want the 15 from here or 15 from there?
So, well, gentlemen, we got a game to discuss. 2-0 win for SanAntonio FC over Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Initial thoughts? We'll start with you, Matt, because you weren't there, but I know you watched it. Kind of your thoughts watching it live from not inside Toyota Field.
That was a really good game. Very possessive. I don't know what the stats was on that one, but we seemed very possessive on that on the playing time. So it was a good game. Very. I know they said it wasn't very physical, but it looked very physical from I guess my point of view because not being there, but it looked very physical.
Possession wise, 48.4, 51.6.
So yeah, it was a great game. I was expecting probably to get a few more cards because of how aggressive some of us were being, but other than that, it came out with the dub. So real good.
Well, I'll ask you a question just because it's right there. How did 119? I'm not sure what you guys are calling it. The new supporter section. How'd that come through?
Barrio Dos Dias or Barrio 210. We had a good turnout. I know the weather was a little factor because it was extra windy, and yeah, I had an adventure. Me, Jason, and Junior putting up the banners around the stadium. So, uh, but like I said, I think that had a little effect on as far as the turnout, but it was still a great atmosphere there. I mean, we still brought it. So,
How did it translate through the TV there, Matt?
Great. You can hear them. You can hear the
But
drums, and you can
you
hear them.
think better than last year down in the bunker?
Well, the mic's not as close for us this year. Yeah, last year the mic was like right in front of us.
So it's because to me, like throughout the stadium, you hear it a lot more where it's at.
Hmm.
It's like where I said it's a lot more popular along those lines than down in the bunker. I did notice last night because to me one of the concerns is what happens with the bunker. It doesn't look like it's any emptier. There's different clientele in there, but
Hmm.
through there. But no, to me, like I said here, I know we kind of talked about the supporters group section and how they brought it. Tailgate, not as big as last week, but the wind was just nasty. Like
Hmm.
because I got there and just the gust of wind, the dust. I know you guys had pizza boxes just because you couldn't really cook anything in it. I know Chris brought, the guy that sits next to us in 114 brought his little barbecue grill, and it was a pain, and just the gust coming up. So, not the best tailgate, not the worst tailgate either. I think still better than last year, especially towards the end of the year. A lot more people out there. You had kind of a section that kind of sat over where the old Crocketeers did. Kind of sat around having the beers through there. Then you had 210 FTC kind of in the middle, and then you had kind of independent fans just barbecuing over there. So the setups there. There were two Riverhound fans that traveled down, and like I said here, kudos to them. Like I said here, it was awesome to meet and interact with them. Bought them a green beer for that here, so safe travels. I know they were flying back this morning, but shout out to the traveling Riverhounds fans and to the Riverhounds. Like I said here, they're a class organization. But starting lineup, same one as we mentioned on the preview show on Saturday morning. Which, if you don't catch it live, because it happens usually between 7 and 8 a.m. For that here, me and Royce kind of talk previews. I nailed the starting lineup. Sanchez, Miranda, Tainer, Cronali, Buckmaster, Soto, Hernandez, Pacheco, Agudelo, and LaCava. Pittsburgh lined up what we thought with Eric Dick, Itu, Suber, Yadrich, Bassi, Walty, Griffin, uh, Barogi, or Burgerji, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, Osanu, Mertz, and Augie Williams, the big threat up top. Um, to me, my initial thoughts on the lineup, like I said, with nobody on the injury list, um, for me, it was kind of good to see consistency because we don't normally see that. I think we saw under Coach Marcino the last 2 years, 3 years, that different lineup. Part of it due to injuries, but part of it just to different makeups for there. So we'll go to you, Matt. Your thoughts on the initial lineup? I can't say there's any surprises because it was the same lineup, but just your thoughts.
Wasn't it a different formation though?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, then SAFC, then the one they put out on X looked different. But other than that, no, it seemed a pretty confident lineup. I mean, no big changes that I thought would have came with Blanco being off the injury report. So pretty good lineup coming forward.
Rafa, your thoughts?
just business as usual as far as like the same guys. I think it's a good thing to have some consistency, which we didn't see last year. We probably had what over 30, 40 sometimes some different lineups the last 2 years. So as you can tell, like I said, Yamosa I think he's really gained the. He's got a lot of trust in this starting 11, but you can also see the chemistry between the guys. It's starting to really kind of build up. But this has kind of also been the lineup also for the preseason too. So
Yeah.
maybe a couple little tweaks here and there, but you're seeing the chemistry is starting to get better. And like I said, maybe depending on the tactics he uses as far as versus the opponent, we could see something tweaked here and there. But like I said, it's no surprises there for the lineup.
So to me, what kind of struck to me, and like I said here, this is from USL Analytics on Blue Sky. If you're not, excuse me, if you're not on Blue Sky, these guys are worth following on there, or guys or gals, I guess I shouldn't just assume. But to me, like I said here, you could see kind of how spread out SanAntonio FC was as far as passing, from goalkeeper to, Tainer to Alex, what's his name? Cronali. Well, I want to say something else, but that's not for the show. For that here, and then out to the wings, compared to this is the. And Rafa, you're going to have to explain this to me because I'm assuming this is kind of like a heat map of where people are. Agudelo is pretty much at midfield. You got the two wingers up top. This one would be Pacheco, and the other one was Lacava. And the CDM is not a CDM. That's actually Jorge. But Agudelo being back that far. But to me, I don't, and like I said, I love Bob Lilly. I got a picture with him, and thank you for taking the time to do this. You're going to have to explain to me how this happens.
What do you expect from a Bob Lilly team?
But you know what I mean, though? It's just like it's a square where all 10 players are in there passing between. And like I said, I know.
It's a more direct. It's a basically direct, and I even saw it. They very rarely ever played anything outside, except for a couple instances, or anything past beyond the 18-yard line box out on the width. There's everything concentrated right there. What you see there, yeah, you can see you can tell there's very little. They did concentrate a lot on that left side because you can see their forward was really looking for the ball there directly, and you can see it's mostly direct passes up front, and also you got to take into consideration with the wind that played a factor. So they wanted to keep everything kind of compact. I think anything that did get played out wide probably was too long to go get. So I think that's the concentration of his, because for his team is to kind of keep it compact, look for the space in between, and go direct and get goals and stuff. Which I guess it's funny that, like I said, usually they kind of park the bus and try to get you on counterattacks, But I think they started out aggressively. Actually, they're really kind of putting the pressure on the SAFC and those areas, but I think that SAFC was able to settle down and kind of close the links because they didn't really have many. Pittsburgh didn't really have many good shots on goal. They had a couple, but like I said, you got to give the defense to SAFC. But yeah, that's what your typical Pittsburgh attack's going to look like.
Yeah, what struck me. And like I said here, maybe you and Matt can kind of educate me. So far in 2 matches, the Monterey Bay we kind of discounted because, hey, they're Monterey Bay. The expectations weren't that high of Monterey Bay. But Pittsburgh is, with Bob Lilly, a very defensive team, very, very kind of set through there. But to me, as far as shots on target, shots at Sanchez, in my opinion, he hasn't really been tested a whole lot. When he has, he's stepped up. but I'm just trying to remember on this game. I don't remember a whole lot of chances that Sanchez really had to deal with.
Yeah, there
Probably
was
only
one
from
that
set pieces.
not necessarily that. There was one that they did flick the ball, and he was able to snatch that one. It was a good flick by the Pittsburgh player. Um, a lot of the shots were over the crossbar, a little too high, and I think also Pittsburgh waited too long. They had space, but they waited too long to send the pass. And by the time they did, our guys were already back to kind of curve those spots and not allow them to get a clear shot. Because I
Yeah,
don't think they didn't have that many shots on goal.
they had 6 total shots, 2 that were off target, 1 was on target, and 3 block shots.
Yeah,
Where we had 12 shots, 5 off target, 3 on target. We had 4 block shots. We had 8 of our shots were inside and 4 shots out, and they had 4 and 2. Just to me, like I said here, the reason why I want to bring up the defense first is because I really think the defense has suffocated both opponents at this point, which, to be fair, Coach Lamosa from the start with Jonathan Check, said, hey, we're going to be a defensive team and build out from there. Rafa, I know you've coached and you have more knowledge than me and Matt combined. So your kind of thoughts on defensively how that's setting up for SAFC. And I know it's 2 games, but still.
what's crazy about this? We don't really look like a defensive team. If we're kind of we're at the right places at the right time when we defend. I think CMOS is really stressed on that, is making sure you're at where you need to be at on your defensive shape. Because last year we weren't doing that, and that's how they got a bunch of goals on us because we were lazy to get back to the space. And here, I think what Lamosa is trying to do is, like I said, just I guess he set up some principles. Just make sure you're where you're at, cover this, don't allow any space, and sacrifice yourself to block shots and so forth, or to kind of delay. I think that it's something that I believe in defense. I believe in the 3Ds of defense: deny, delay, destroy. We're gonna deny them space. We're gonna delay the play, and that's what they've been doing. And then they destroy the play by stealing the ball, clearing it out, and go scoring them. And I think that's what Yomosis. I think I can tell that his philosophy is kind of really similar to that. And like I said, 6 shots allowed says you're gonna win a lot of games if you only allow 6 shots. So it's kudos to him. It doesn't look defensive because we're not parking the bus, but like I said, it goes back to the spacing. Everyone's coming back, or midfield's coming back, and you can see here, there's really no space.
Well, this is the one shot that they did have
Yeah.
where Sanchez came through here. Anytime I play it, it's got to do it for that here.
The only, like I said, the only lack of you see on the backside, or one of our wingers has to really come back. Had they sent a better pass, it's a clear shot on goal for him.
Yeah, so I'm just not going to do it. Gabe, to say the team definitely has areas to improve, but overall there's a positive feel both offensively and defensively with the start of this team. Couldn't agree with you more in regards to that. So let's talk about the 2 positives. Well, I guess there's a lot of positive, but the 2 positives. The one was the goal by Jorge Hernandez in the 54th minute. It was a assist from. Where did it go?
And a dumb mistake.
Jimmy Madranda. Jimmy Madranda with an assist went over. Jorge beat the off. I don't even know if it was an offside press, but you could tell it was something that they had worked on because he released it and Jimmy hit him. He got around Eric Dick, knocked the ball around, and then with his speed was able to, pretty much into the empty net before the Riverhounds defender was able to get back and get back
offside
and remove it. So to me, like I said, good opening goal for that here. Your thoughts on the initial goal from Jorge Hernandez?
Go ahead, Matt.
No, well, look, I want to go back to something. Can you go back to that screen
Oh yeah, hold on.
on the passing one?
Yeah, hold on.
Maybe. And
This
I'm
one
looking up here.
or this one?
The one before.
This one?
But before. There's
Oh,
one, the very first one you showed.
oh okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I got you.
the compact one, yeah.
Yeah,
This one.
that one. See, when you started sharing, when you first shared these pictures with us,
Mm-hmm.
that the way ours looks gave me so much confidence because you can see them. They have their direct lines already in my eyes. Because I know I'm not a pro like Rafa in coaching, but to me, I feel confident in those passings and just seeing how they keep. I guess like in a way, what I'm looking at is they keep an open mind. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that it does look a lot better than Pittsburgh's. Because golly, man, it's just
I
they
just
were just
don't
stuck in
understand Pittsburgh's. I don't. Yeah.
they were just stuck in the middle. I never saw them come from the outside. Like Rafa said, I never
Yeah.
saw them go to the out. But yeah, Jorge's goal was I thought it was offsides. I was scared that it was offsides, but
No, he was
from
on
hearing
though.
the
Like when you actually watch the replay, he was on. He
well, I
just
mean,
beat
because it happened so fast.
right.
But from even hearing from his after game interview, he said I looked back and I was still on and I just went for it. So yeah, not gonna lie, it was impressive. But I literally got scared he was offside because that
But if
line
you
dropped slowly dropped back.
what you're looking at is like I said, their main target was Williams, and
Yeah.
that's who they're looking for. Then that's why they made a and if you look at the other ones, Williams was more leaning towards the left side of the field,
Mhm.
and he was trying to get that pass and then play it kind of back into the middle to his right foot. So that's why you see, like I said, on the other charts there, you see on that right there, that's where Williams was mostly were there the whole night on the left side. So once he received the ball, he was going to play it back into the middle and take that shot with his right foot. And we did a really good job containing him, and you can tell he was very frustrated because he was asking for the ball. There was a couple times that they had it, and he was like wide open, and they just never looked at him. Or our guy just got there in time to kind of steal the ball or kind of delay it, and he wasn't able to kind of get it going because. And I think once we scored the goal, it kind of opened things up because now they couldn't really stay compact, and that's what normally what Bob Blades team does is once they get a goal, they're gonna stay compact in the back and kind of make you earn it, kind of like a AC Milan or Inter Milan team that kind of does those things,
Mhm.
like from the past.
Well, you could tell once we scored, there was a lot of frustration in their forwards and I guess what's supposed to be their number nine.
Yeah,
Because Jesus, they were going after Tainter, they were going after Alex, they were just going after the line, and I was just wondering when
he,
was it
he's
going to be the yellow cards coming out for them? Because
Mhm.
gosh,
well, he was a key for them because he don't get it going, Picture's not going to do crap. And they you got to give her back for props, kudos for shutting his butt down because that's their whole game plan is we want to get the lead and then we're going to defend it for the rest of the way. Which, like I said, granted they're one of the best defensive teams and he's one of the defensive minds, so they can hold a win and win a 1-0 game, and that was their objective because one goal was really going to win this game, but we got like I said we kind of flipped the switch on them, and it basically what happened for them is they had to push up and they had to spread out in order to try to get that equalizer, and that kind of opened up things for us in that second half.
Yeah, and to me, like I said here, is you could kind of see we got the goal in the 54th minute, and then in the 75th minute, just like week one, we switched to basically a 5-3-2 because Alexis Swahe came in, Alex Grieve came in, and Luke Hawkinson came in. So Hawkinson came in for LaCava. Grieve came in for Pacheco, or it might be reversed on those two. I know they move around. And then Swahe came in for Soto for that here. So, and then Swahe slid kind of in the middle. I was kind of surprised by, I won't lie, by by Alex Grieve. The moves that he had, the attack, how he split the defenders, and set up Luke. And what people don't understand, there was if Luke didn't catch it, SanAntonio there was a backup on the back post that would have buried it. But I was happy that Luke got it for all all the work that he's done here. But Rafa, your thoughts on the Alex Grieve setup because he got the assist for it, and then Luke hammering that, he hammered it home too.
Yeah, no, that was textbook there. Once he got into that area, and like I said, Pittsburgh got basically left wide open there, and Luke was able to get into the space and just bury that one-time shot, and that was all she wrote for Pittsburgh. But if you're seeing, like I said, we're spreading the ball around. We're not just being direct. Like I said, we're being patient. And that play, like I said, they're being patient, but also they're being efficient too. Like I said, they were able to get that combination right there in the six and get that goal. So I'm sure I was happy for Lucas. I'm sure that's a good confidence booster for him, especially from last year. It's kind of I'm sure last year was a little frustrating. This year, I think you can tell he's playing a lot better. I think he feels more free under Mosa's system than it was last year. Because last year, I think he was basically out of position. This year, you can tell that he was more comfortable in that spot.
Yeah, to me, this is kind of another illustration as far as for the average position on how they were just so narrow along those lines here. Game ends 2-0. Crowd at 5,800. A little bit disappointing for it here.
Not really.
The reason why I'm saying it's still a little disappointing is because I think some of it has to do with last year's drama, and I think that's where we as fans are going to have to work to bring the people that tuned out last year. And I think we saw that but years before, because the weather, it was windy, but it wasn't cold, it wasn't wet along those lines. Once you were in the stadium, if you're playing in it, yeah, that's one thing. But to me, like I said here, I was hoping for a little bit more. I know Royce initially thought that there were going to be, Royce thought it was going to be closer to 7, and I was like, no, it's probably closer to 6, and I ended up, being closer on that one. But to me, like I said, a great night, with the exception of one punk ass kid running onto the field. Dude, not acceptable. It is not acceptable. Like I said here, and like I said, if his parents were there and allowed it through there, if the parents weren't there, whoever was supposed to be in charge of them.
So what I heard, it was a club team that the SAFC invited, and like I say, after that signal, we're like, we see him run in. I'm like, what the heck's going on there? And then we have the security guy right there next to us, and he's just watching him. I was like, shouldn't you be going after him? He just stood there and watched until finally someone from the other side grabbed him and escorted him out. So yeah, that was a little weird situation there. But yeah, the turnout, like I said, I think it had to do, with somewhat maybe with the wind, but also there's other events going on too. I know there was the Tejano Music Awards. I think they had a fan fest, so they had that, and I know the Spurs were playing too. So, but
And then they had the painting of the river
yeah,
for St. Patty's Day. They were having a bunch of parades going on.
Oh, that's true.
Mhm.
So,
yeah.
but
So
to me, like I said here, we've got a big one coming up April 6th for that here. So we do need to turn out for that here. Final thoughts on the game?
I think it was a textbook style, if that's okay to say, because it went smooth and everything was according to plan. Uh, per se, I mean, your defense did what it had to do, your midfield did what it had to do, and you worked it all the way up to your forwards. So good job to the guys.
it was a hard fought victory.
Mm-hmm.
They had to earn this one because they knew what were they going up against. Like I said, you have a free shirt coach going up against a legend, that has a lot of experience and has been through a lot of wars when it comes to the soccer. Um,
But
but
Lamosa's been through a lot. I know he hasn't
yeah,
been a head coach,
yeah,
but he's
well,
been
yeah,
a first team assistant for what 15 years
more
under
than a decade,
Severisi.
yeah. But
So.
there's a difference because you're the one that's making the decisions. So you know,
Mhm.
but the thing is, it's a good win for him because he shows he can go against the best as far as one of the great minds. Um, and I think you can tell the players are starting to kind of really believe in themselves
Mm-hmm.
in this system, and that I think they have a pep back, kind of like they have a smile. They're enjoying being in on that field, and but also they're sacrificing. They're working hard for one another, which really hasn't seen that in a couple of years. So I think this is they have a new attitude. They have a new better work ethic, and you can really tell that this. I'm not saying we're gonna win it all, but I think we're gonna be a team that's gonna be very dangerous and should not be underestimated. If everything kind of starts to really click, and that's the scary part. We don't know how deep our bench is, and we got some quality on the bench
Mm-hmm.
too. So that we could say maybe, like I said, by maybe the halfway point, we'll see how far we're at. Like I said, but hey, to start 2-0 couldn't couldn't be better.
So speaking of that, just kind of looking at, I know it's week 2, but where we're at in the league. Out east, Loudoun United 2-0 with a victory over Birmingham, followed up with a victory over North Carolina. Detroit City, Miami, and Colorado Springs, kind of a big win on the road, a 2-1 win. Lou City at 4 points with the draw this afternoon against Birmingham Legion. Indy played Miami, got a win. Charleston beat Rhode Island 2-0 in kind of a rematch. Rhode Island's first match. North Carolina's at a point. Pittsburgh's at a point. Legion's at a point. Rowdies, the West has not been kind. 0-2. Two close losses, one to Vegas, which they controlled, but Vegas got a goal in due to an error, and then Tulsa. Haven't watched the highlights yet. And then Miami FC, sorry, still not good. San Antonio leads the East, the West right now due to goal difference. 2 wins, Riverhounds and Monterey Bay. Tulsa, surprisingly, road win and a home win against Phoenix and Tampa. I didn't have them at 6 points after those two. Orange County, Lexington ended in a draw. Orange County came back and got a winner late. Sacramento didn't play. New Mexico United got a draw at the death against Vegas, and I mean a draw at the death. Monterey Bay beat Oakland Roots, who we play next, and probably going to be over 20,000 fans at the Oakland Alameda Coliseum, 3-2. The Lights lost, as we talked about. El Paso.
They're
Full,
they're the Atletico de Madrid of the USL.
dude, they were up 4-1 and it came back 2
That
red
goal,
cards, although one of them wasn't sent off, which is a whole separate discussion. Phoenix hits a shot, one of their goals from basically the midfield.
Traore, yeah.
Yeah, Tyra's goal. El Paso had a bike in it. So like I said here, if you're gonna rewatch a game, that second half is one to watch. Phoenix, like it's one of those where you lost to Tulsa, you got a point, well earned point, but it's one of those you probably feel like it's a win, just because how far back you came. The champs losing to Detroit, and then Oakland, who we face, lost 4-2 and 3-2 to Monterey Bay and Orange County. So 7 goals in 2 matches. Even though you're scoring 2 goals a game, that's not a good sign defensively coming up against San Antonio. And Royce and I, and depending on who else gets up Saturday morning, we'll kind of go into more details on that, with the Oakland Roots along those lines here. But
They're this weekend's game, right?
yes,
Okay.
it'll be a late night,
9 p.m. here.
9 p.m. Is it 9 or 9?
Well, 9 p.m. here in San Antonio, but 7 p.m. in
Do you know? And I know it's real early. Are you guys planning a watch party? Do you know?
I don't know nothing right now. I'm still
Okay.
trying to figure it out. if who wants to do it, because there's some people who want to host it, and I just got to see with the guys where we want to do it.
And it is a late night game, so
I love my craft beer people, but if 10 o'clock's your time, I don't want to keep you later.
yeah. And then the other key thing that we need to look out for is where it's being televised on, if it's on Paramount Plus or ESPN. So that's something that we'll have to kind of research, because as we know, sometimes they don't have the locations if it's on Golazo Sports, as an example, along those lines. So
just bring the fire stick.
yeah. Any other San Antonio news?
Not
Just-
really.
Just we got something planned these next 3 days. That's gonna be fun.
Well, I want to get one more thing before we get to that. Let me add this back on here. RGV Red Crowns is a new team. They're going to be in the League of Cup or Cup of Leagues along those lines here. All right, I never get it right here. It's a new league that's starting out, semi-pro, along those lines here. Let's see, I'm trying to see if I could figure out who liked it. I know Edson talked to Edson about it. He's excited. They named Rafa Reina as the head coach. Was with El Paso Surf, has his UFA license along those lines here. So I'm excited that RGV is getting a team back. I hate the name. No offense, and I understand why they did it because it's a local bird down there. But Red Crowns, the first thing that I thought was Red Clowns for here, which I did send to you.
I'm just waiting for the tifos for that.
We're doing petcos.
But
Sorry,
I wish them luck. Well, Edson's comments like, well, it's the San Antonio RGV banner all over. But who
would they be playing? The Corinthians?
They are playing the Corinthians, but their goal is to go professional in a few years, possibly USL League One, which would be good. If Corpus arrives and the other teams that are in the area. But they're going to be playing. I think they announced in Harlingen, which talking to Edson, he's like, it's not as good as where they were. For the RGV fans, because I guess Harlingen's a little bit of a distance.
Well, it's halfway between Edinburgh and Bronzeville. My I'm surprised that they didn't decide to play at the Brownsville Sports Park because it's already they have. I've been there. They have seats. They have like a
Well, there's already a Brownsville team though down there.
yeah, but that's
Different league, but yeah.
different league. Yeah, but unless they're gonna renovate with the I guess what the White Doves used to play at. Um,
Well, that's what they're talking about doing.
yeah. So I mean, honestly, they should do is just really make if they're gonna renovate it, make it an actual soccer stadium. Not just kind of like what like El Paso has and so forth. It's going to take some time for them to really. The whole thing is getting the fan base, and I remember talking to Edson a while back. Like I said, some of them are still stuck on. They don't really support local soccer. They support more of the outside leagues and so forth. So they're gonna have to market it well, so they can attract those fans to come in and I hopefully maybe they end up getting to USO, one, so maybe they can rival Corpus Christi. I mean, that'd be a good rivalry game and also Laredo Heat too. So that'd be a good little rivalry game.
And from my understanding, Laredo Heat and teams from RGV, that area, do not like each other in anything. It's my understanding in talking with some there. To me, like I said here, I know some of the makeup of is remnants of RGV. Wish them nothing but success, especially with Edson for that here if he's going to be part of it. In his way that he can. I know he was extremely excited about it. Him and all the down in the valley guys to have something to do. Wish it wasn't just a summer league, but you got to start somewhere and build that foundation along those lines here. So, Matt, any thoughts on it? I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Valley.
I mean, I talked to Mike Reyes of the Surge. I mean, not the Surge, the Stampede, and he was excited. He got something back, but it's not what the Toros were. But I mean, he got something back from my understanding. So just glad they got something going. I mean, they really do. They have them like it's there. We all know it's there. It's just and that's my one pet peeve. Nobody wants to support that local team, but as soon as you see the three big letters come in, everybody and their mother wants to jump in on the bandwagon. So that's to me. I'm just thankful they got something.
Yeah, and to me, like I said here, more soccer is good for us here. I might try to see if I can reach out to them to do an interview as we get a little bit closer for that here, because there is a lot of local league, semi-pro league action going on, both men and women here in San Antonio for that here. Matt, your final thought, and then we'll kick it to Rafa and mine. Hold on. I have a question here for you. And well, I'll keep it PG because we've been PG all show, but if you want to, kick it to R. What the heck is wrong with your Dynamo, dude? I think they're the worst team in the league right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't even know how much of a debate it is.
Remember, man, I'm gonna chop him. I don't care. He don't play for us. They have a Burks on their team, dude. They have a freaking Burks on their team. He doesn't know how to pass. He doesn't know how to pass. He doesn't know, and he's not listening to the goalkeeper. And give it the thought. The goalkeeper's from FC Dallas. He wasn't that bad. So I'm like, it's not what happened. This kid was supposed to be the top prodigy of Dynamo 2, and I'm sorry, it seems like he shit the bed. But it's just
well, here's the problem. Like. if he went from Dynamo 2 straight to MLS, that's the issue. And that's
Mhm.
why
Probably also that.
that's to me that's why part of the reason why I think MLS will end up with a D2 league because of just the talent gap to go from a MLS Next Pro to MLS
Like 2
is
divisions.
is a
Yeah.
2 division jump. Just the speed and through there, and we've seen players that score well in Division 3, League 1, MLS Next Pro, and they come up to USL Championship and they can't do anything.
Yeah.
So
And that's what I heard from Foxtrot and some of the guys from the Surge and Texan Army. They just said they literally just threw him to the dogs.
Yeah.
To say you're good enough, do what you gotta do. And to my knowledge, it's SAFC last year. That's the way I look at them. It's literally last year's SAFC at the moment. Well, towards the end. So, do I give them the respect? Yes. They're you can see they're trying, but there were some unlucky calls also, and shout out to Robert Cassiano for coming at me. But I'm like, hey, I'll sacrifice a Houston game to get an SAFC win. So, sorry guys, but when it comes to the battle to win, it's between the two. Hey, I want both my teams to win at the end of the day.
hey, Aguilar 210. Hope you're doing well for the here. Sorry we started the show early. I got some stuff to prep for the bracketology show, and Royce wasn't going to make it in time because he's coming back from supporting Austin FC. I mean Austin for that here. He's going to kill me.
What's the deal? What's the deal with the people wearing Austin FC jerseys at Toyota? Like,
It wasn't him. It was somebody else.
no, I'm saying Royce. I mean,
It was Royce?
No, it wasn't Royce. And so you do know
I was about to say.
this team is your daddy. There's no reason to be wearing that green jersey there.
I will say this. How do I word this? I'm open to Austin FC fans coming down to Toyota Field where they can watch good soccer. So that maybe he's got to watch good soccer, and like I said here,
that's true.
So like I said here, but no, it's like I said here. I think we both know, or I think everybody knows, it's going to be San Antonio. It's going to be Austin FC Open Cup at Q2. I think it's going to be another warm envelope. Just. There's no chance it's not. Because Austin FC wants to get San Antonio up in Q2. They get a host automatically.
There is a chance. There is a chance it could have been Houston too. Because remember, they can't host. We can.
I'm telling you, it'll be San Antonio traveling to Houston. Daddy Garber's gonna pull that card for his little BFF pre-court to get San Antonio because they're still sour. I still have my little Los Verdes jersey that says SAFC 2, Austin FC 1, and if I ever do go back up to Q2, which, I will, that'll be the shirt that I wear because I do respect the guys with Los Verdes and what they do, and what they try to do for their community.
But it's going to be a weak match.
I have to go. I'm going. I think I guess in August to see Chivas' daddy go play there, which is Club America. So
I'll be up in Austin in August for the Houston Austin.
It's not a bad stadium. Like I said here, it's
not.
To all credit to Pre-Court, it is not a bad stadium. But for our final thoughts, if you can tune in and support our show the next 3 nights, we're going to be doing bracketology. Monday, I'm still iffy on if it's going to go off, just because some of the brackets are still very, very, very thin. And that's where Rafa and I will probably have to make that determination on. And that's why I haven't released the schedule yet. I know we've kind of teased it. But if the 4A brackets don't get filled in tomorrow, and I'm talking about Region 3, because Region 1, Region 2 is filled in pretty good. Region 4 we know fairly well, but Region 3, as much as I love Max Preps, it's not
Especially,
exactly the most dependable
oh
for
yeah,
that here. And so I don't want to do a bracket that's not correct. If
district,
it's, oh, go ahead.
District 19. Hurry up and send in your stuff.
Oh, shit. We're in
Speak of
trouble.
the devil.
God damn it. Man, we were supposed to be out by now.
What happened?
Hello, Royce.
Oh.
Oh, he can't
Uh,
speak. Oh, well, that's the show, guys. Royce, whenever you can talk, talk.
Oh yeah, when you get in,
Oh, here you go.
yeah, that's what you
There you
get.
go.
There you go. Royce, can you hear us now?
I can.
You're on the
It's all
air.
you, buddy.
Oh, we're okay. We're live. F it. We're doing it
We've been
live.
live. Did you not follow the chat? Because when you said you were still in Austin, I was all like, I didn't want you to have to race home and hop on a thing, so we started at 7, or
Fair enough.
7:30ish.
Fair enough. So I'm coming in cold. What have we talked about so far? Summarize it, and I'll come in. Or if
We
you have a
talked
question
about
for
how
me, ask a
you're
question.
an Austin FC fan for as much time that you spend in Austin.
No,
Exactly.
incorrect. I just
Well,
have family there. I mean, I grew
get
up in
your thoughts
Austin.
on the game because we, like I said, we were getting ready to end the show because we're at 52 minutes in order to be under the Royce rules of keep it under an hour.
Well, I mean, making the show a little easier to listen to. No, I grew up in Austin, and Austin used to be great, and it sucks now. Anyway, about the game, I thought we played really well together. Multiple people that I was around for the game constantly kept noting that it was cool to have a team that passed the ball around a lot. So I'm sure y'all went into passes completed. Obviously, SanAntonio had the lead pretty early in the second half. So Pittsburgh did win the possession battle, but that's just because they were chasing a goal for most of that game. We saw the same thing in the 75th minute from Carlos Llamosa going from the 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, same thing, to the 5-3-2, which we've seen in the preseason games plus the first game and this game. So that is a constant thing. We saw the same lineup get thrown out there that Harry and I guessed on the pregame show. But the two goals were pretty good goals. Kind of one was taking advantage of a mistake, and one was a really nice dribble by Alex Grieve that set it up. So I think it was kind of a complete win. We looked good. Both sides. I really thought the 0-0 draw was going to come into fruition that I guessed or I predicted, just because it kind of seemed like it was going to be a 0-0 game, and then Jorge's goal to take advantage of the mistake of the back line and the goalkeeper for Pittsburgh kind of opened the game up a bit. But my favorite part of the game, kind of a smaller part, I told you guys about it.
The shithousery.
Correct. If you look in the 86th or 87th minute, right after Soto, right before the Hackinson goal and or the Hawkinson goal, and right after Soto gets subbed out, he goes off at the end line to get subbed out, and as he's walking around the field, he notices that the Pittsburgh players are about to have a throw-in, and he stands right in front of the guy trying to throw in, and the whole Pittsburgh team lost their mind. There's two Pittsburgh fans right behind him on TV that lost their mind, and it was just the veteran shithousery that we were lacking last year. Soto's bringing that this year, and this team really has that collective attitude. And I mean, it's easy to say we're 2-0. They look pretty good, Obviously, they could really tighten up in the final third. If you look at FOTMob in the game rankings,
Mm-hmm.
our back four defenders and Richard Sanchez were all in the 7s and 8s. Midfield averaged about a 7, and then our forwards averaged about a 5.5 or 6. So
Agudelo bringing us down.
We
it's
need a
no,
9, number
and
9.
honest, and that was a thing that I did want to mention as well. It's an interesting thing from Agudelo. Agudelo is not playing as a 9; he is playing as a false 9. He is the target for either one of the center backs or Richard Sanchez to kick it up to either flick on or hold the ball up and get it to one of the wingers to go and attack.
He's the
So
Justin Dillon.
that's been an interesting little thing to see, is that Agudelo is not playing as a traditional 9. He's holding the ball up, but he has players to pass it to now. It's not just, get it up to Agudelo. He'll hold the ball up for a minute by himself against 3 people, and then we'll hope we get a chance off of that. So that's interesting to see, and he wins the ball all the time. I know Harry and I made a comment during the game. He gets fouled a lot.
Yep.
And the only whistles go against him. But he gets fouled a lot. So once again, very hard-working season so far from Juan Agudelo. But, I think it was a good result. The ref, kind of despite the ref not really having too much control in the game, I thought we played really well, and I think we got a deserved result out of that. And Bob Lilly is a damn legend. So there you go.
Yeah,
That's
thank
all
you
I
to
got.
Bob Lilly. Thank you to Bob Lilly for that here. Final thought for you before Rafa gets us out.
Y'all were that close to getting out. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Let's go for 3-0. That's my final thought.
So my final thought, my final thought before I kick it to Rafa, Saturday morning, 7 to 8, somewhere in that time frame, maybe a little bit earlier, depending on the weekend and what's going on. Royce and I do kind of a preview at the tailgate. Heard a lot of positives about it. That it was kind of nice being able to have something to listen to in the morning. They asked, "Hey, what time do you guys do it?" And they're like, "Yeah, we ain't getting up that early to watch it live." Which is not the intent. If you can, like I said here, awesome for that here. But like I said here, it is something that we will do. Jolanda, Dow, Pete, great show, guys. Thank you. How's the new USL division going to compete with MLS and going to affect SAFC? We'll probably talk about that in the future before they hear, because there's just too much unknowns right now. I would, for it here. And I know when the news first happened, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but we need to see how it progresses before we really understand. Number one, I don't think it's going to compete with MLS directly, but number two, how it's going to affect USL, I think that's still to be determined for that here. Rafa, get us out of here so that way we get out within the time frame. You got about 90 seconds before we go to 101.
So I guess mentioned tomorrow, hopefully we'll have the 5th annual bracketology hosted by us and SanAntonio Soccer Roundtable and the 50/50 podcast. So it'll be myself, Harry, Coach Hector Cano, Coach Steve Sanchez will be making the picks. This year will be a lot more thorough because we finally get to pick state champions. In the year past, we only got to the regional finals. So we get to pick the 12 new champions. So make sure you subscribe to our social media pages, YouTube, X. We're on Facebook. Like I said, also I think we may be also on Twitch as well for both.
I don't think we'll be on Twitch tomorrow.
So most likely it's going to be YouTube, X, and Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
So make sure you're live. See what picks we make. We'll love to hear your comments, whether you agree with our picks or not. If you don't agree with it, that's Steve's fault. I'll blame Steve for that.
But not green over here.
It should be fun. Like I said, it's our annual tradition. Like I said, it's We're the only ones that started this new tradition each year. It's been growing and growing each year. Hopefully, we can make it span even more. I've kind of tagged some important people on there so they can kind of check it out, and we look for everybody to watch in, and for all you 4E schools, kind of hurry up and get your stuff in. Or like I said, if you guys have like I said, if you are watching, like I said, if there's some updates, please let us know as far as brackets. If they've made some changes, just send us a DM, whether with us or 50. That way we can update them. But hopefully everything should be set. We're still waiting to see, I think, what happens in the Valley, but it looks like.
Well, no, it's final. Valley View's out.
Final?
They certified Valley View's out.
So I guess
I'm not sure the reason why. I haven't seen anything on it, but they're on late Friday. The 50-50 pod coach and Lethal, I forget what his new username is, said that Far Valley View was happened to forfeit all but 4 games, which they were going to be one of the favorites, at least, to get out of Region 4. One of the teams that would have went deep for that here. They are not out. The reason why this is an issue is the coach that's there has had a similar issue of having to forfeit a season. And this has to do with the player's eligibility for that here in the past. So it's one of those things that we'll probably discuss a little bit more tomorrow night if the show does happen. Hopefully some things come to light on it here. But yeah, that is something that it has an impact, especially Region 4 where we're at, to have one of the favorites go down. Have a team, was it Idea Vanguard that was sitting at home? Now all of a sudden, hey, we need you guys to come back for that here. So we are planning to start at 8:00 tomorrow. It'll be, I know on Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to do 5A on Tuesday, Wednesday, 6A. We know those will be starting at 8:00 for that here. The question is for 4A, if I can get enough of the bracket filled in where, where I can reasonably put together a bracket, where we can make the picks and through there in a timely manner. So please, if you are an administrator, please follow the process to upload it, certify your districts. I know there are some games tomorrow as well that I saw, which,
like Madisonville and Palestine were playing the
correct.
Girls. But that
doesn't really determine, but yeah,
district title.
Yeah, district title. But there are a couple that, just going through that, we'll have to see how it kind of turns in, just because, Max Prep, we got to come up with a better system. But this isn't SAFC, or this is the SA Soccer Roundtable here for the high schools. This is the SAFC Fancast. So, like I said here, thank you for everybody for tuning in. Sorry it was an earlier show. I know I've got some things that's going on a little bit later. Matt said he wanted to start drinking a little bit earlier. Rafa's at Laredo, so he's got nothing better else to do. And no offense, Royce, I thought with you coming home with school, I believe school's tomorrow for the youngster.
Incredibly, he's getting off spring break and he has Monday off. So really cool. But no, we went and visited my mom for her birthday, and
that's cool.
Just had a drive back. So
but yeah,
I
didn't want you to have to race home, and just because I know as a dad, I would have been like, yeah, the podcast, as much as I love it, that's kind of the idea why we did the Saturday, Sunday shows, is that way it gives us a little bit more flexibility as hosts to be able to do it where if we can get 2 or 3 of us, we can do the show. And that way, instead of being 90 minutes, it's, that 90 minutes is spread over 2 shows or, along there. But Thank you, Royce, for hopping on. We just thought it was kind of funny because we were talking shit to you about being an Austin FC fan, and bam, here comes Royce.
Yeah, bitch.
But thank you to Matt. Thank you, Rafa. I'm glad you had safe travels down to Laredo. Enjoy your week down there. Jonathan Check, hope you feel better. Check out his Bluish Moon. He did the post-game recap. He'll most likely do a preview. Hopefully he's well enough to go through there. Also, I'm excited for this week's game against Oakland because it will be a packed house. And the reason why that's important is not only do they have this one here, but in May they have to go to Rhode Island where they open up their stadium. So if they can go on the road in Oakland, who is not off to a great start, when they go to Rhode Island, they'll be used to a rough atmosphere for that here. So, but thank you for everybody tuning in. What's life without goals? We are out of here.